Testing, testing. Check the sound. Check the sound. Right.
All right, so we want to give more praises and glory to Yahweh, honors to the elders and the apostles, great millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, you know, through the spirit, we up here, you know, with the brother Ayash up in Connecticut. And so, you know, while we're here for a little bit, just wanted to get into the spirit and get into a quick lesson, and Lord willing, to be edifying unto the elect. Um, so pretty much like you see in the title, we got dealing with the Passover. It says in the spirit of the Passover, you know, and ultimately that is the time that we're in. We're in the time of the Passover, and so we ought to remain in that solemn spirit. As a matter of fact, what you got? All right, let's get Leviticus 23 and verse 5. Deuteronomy, you got that?
Yeah, we just gonna hold it.
Okay. So Deuteronomy 16. Okay. Yeah, then we'll get into it. You know, because yeah, when you recount the Passover, the first Passover in the time of Egypt, as we were watching the Elder Apostle Gabar's video on our way here, the first Passover in the time of Egypt, that wasn't a Passover of fun. You know, it was a time of fear because we were in haste to trying to get out of Egypt before the Lord brought that death and that destruction. You know, or we didn't get out before he brought it, but we were in haste because that was what was going on at that time, you know, in our vicinity. And then when you fast forward to the time of Yahushua, when he kept the Passover with the apostles, the spirit that he was in, when he kept it, he was very grieved, you know, and he was he said that his sweat was like blood, you know. So the time of the Passover, as we keep it in remembrance of the time of Egypt and also Yahushua's time and what he went through for us, because Yahushua was the actual Passover. You know, so when you got to keep in mind when you're in a, you know, when the Passover comes and you're in the spirit of fun and going here and doing this and trying to justify yourself, yeah, pleasures, trying to justify yourself through technicalities, you go in there and your mind is focused on how good the lamb is gonna taste. You know, damn, I ain't eating all day, so I'm gonna tear up this lamb, and then maybe I might sneak some takeaways. The Most High knows what's in your mind. He knows what's in your heart. You know, and ultimately, what the Lord is going to do is He's going to destroy a lot of Israelites, because for you to have been in the world and not to have been keeping the Passover as you should, and yet the Lord have mercy on you to bring you into the truth. For you to be aware of it, so now you can keep it, and then in doing that, you're going off and defiling it. What you think the Lord is going to do to you? Yeah, exactly. Good. You know, and the scriptures say that it is impossible for one that has tasted of the heavenly, the truth after you have fallen out to be reconciled back again. So you don't want to run that risk, especially now with the Passover. Here it is. You know, the Passover was about death. Okay, Yahushua put the Egyptians to death, and Yahushua was put to death. So if it's about death, and you know, even in Israel, you know, there's stories on how individuals have been either severely hurt or they've been killed on the Passover, which is all orchestrated by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. So knowing all these things, what manner of spirit are you to be in? Got it. Mark 16, verse 1 says, observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. Which is the first month, right? For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God, right, of the flock and of the herd, and the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it, right? Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. So we know you're not supposed to eat leaven, all right, during the feast of unleavened bread, which starts the night of the Passover. Go ahead. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith. So for 7 days you got to eat unleavened bread. Go ahead.
even the bread of affliction. For thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste. Thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life.
And that's why when you eat the Passover, you're supposed to eat it in haste. Now, ain't nobody saying go choke on the lamb or something, but eat it in reasonable haste. It's not something that man, this should taste good. I'm gonna take my time. And no, you gotta eat it as though you were actually having to, as if you knew that Esau's troops were about to kick in the door, and you were gonna have to go maybe a week without eating. So you gotta dog this down as fast as possible, and then you gotta rush out. That's the spirit you gotta be in when you're eating it. You actually have to put your mind into that mind frame of actually being in the spirit of the Passover. Still good on that? All right. What's that? 15, right? Jump down to
15. Deuteronomy 16, verse 16, it says, 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose.
There you go, all thy males. So now that's why when we keep the Passover, we don't bring our wives and our women and all that. No, we keep it. Especially when we come together to congregate to keep it, it's us the males. Now, if you're keeping it in your household with you and your family, then that's a different story. Then your wife, your kids, you tell them what they got to do, and you do what you got to do. You keep it with your family, because in ancient Egypt, we ain't kick out our women and say, hey, you go out there and deal with the death angel, and we'll be in here keeping the Passover. Got it. So it says 3 times in a year we're supposed to come up to Jerusalem, and this shows you that the Lord is having mercy on us now, because we can't go up to Jerusalem to keep the Passover. So we got to keep it in our respective locations, and that's why the scriptures say that we're rehearsing the righteous acts.
It says, in the feast of unleavened bread, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles, and they shall not appear before the Lord empty.
Right. So the feast of unleavened bread is the Passover, and the feast of weeks is the otherwise known as the feast of first fruits, which is the Pentecost. All right. Well, I believe 50 days after the Passover.
Right. Every man shall give as he is able,
right,
according to the blessing of thy God, which he giveth thee. Judges and officers shall thou make thee in all thy gates.
That was that.
Yeah, that was on that. Yeah.
All right, that was
In Leviticus 23 and 5, and the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover.
And that's going to be, well, according to Esau's calendar, when you line it up, it's going to be tomorrow, which is March 16th at sundown. That's going to be the Lord's Passover. The 14th day at even is also the beginning of the 15th day. Go ahead.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread,
which is the Passover.
Unto the Lord 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. Go ahead.
And the first day ye shall have an holy convocation.
An holy convocation. Look up that word convocation. Because it's not like, now, of course we have different feasts and different holy days that we keep and so on and so forth. But the Passover is a special kind of holy day, like the Day of Atonement. These aren't days where we get together in the spirit of laughing and giggling and chilling. Now, Yahushua with his disciples, you mean to tell me that they didn't have moments where they laughed and chilled? No, they did. But when they were there together in the time of the Passover, they weren't cracking jokes. Here it is, the Lord's telling you, one of you sitting here is going to betray me. And now everybody's heart's dropping. You losing your appetite. You come to find out, damn, Lord, now everybody's asking, Lord, who is it? Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? And then Judas, you find out it's Judas. You're like, what the fuck is going on here? John's probably like, I always knew this nigga was a thief, but like, damn, he went as far as to betray the Lord. And then the Lord said he's going to be put to death by the person, because he's going to be betrayed and then he's going to be put to death. And now everybody, people, and he's saying, they're going to kill me and y'all going to run. And they saying, what I'm saying? So imagine hearing all this. You thinking, nah, I ain't, what I'm saying? That's not going to happen. That's like in this day, Just for example's sake, that's like if Apostle Tahar, for example, told Apostle Gabar and Apostle Ramlov and Elder Sakaran that, they usually kept together right here. And he told them, Elder Apostle Rakah, and he told them, look, the Esau gonna come for me, and I'm not, comparing Apostle to Yahushua. I'm just giving an example. All right. So he says, yo, they're gonna arrest me tonight, and when they do, you guys are all gonna run. You think the rest of the apostles gonna stand there after all those years of laboring with him, and that connection and that bond they have? You think they're gonna stand there and say, "Oh yeah, Khan, yeah, you're definitely right"? No, they're gonna say, "Nah, man," and they've said it already that they're gonna ride or die. So imagine that, and that's not something you want to hear. So when Yahushua was telling them these things, it was a heavy spirit. It was a spirit of like, yo, like, what are you saying? Oh, you found it?
Yeah, the definition. Convocation, sacred assembly.
Sacred assembly. See, so it's not, so you can't just have anybody wants on in. All right, that's a very, look, keeping the Passover is very important. You all have to be in the spirit of unison. And that's why the Lord said, if there's any leaven within you, purge it out before the night of the Passover. If you got a problem with a brother, hash it out before the time of the Passover, because you all got to be in unison. You can't have somebody's energy is off, because the spirit is going to sense it, and that's not going to be good for you. So you all got to be in that one mindset. All right, you're all good. We're as one body, one unit, like a battle, like the Republic. They my counter basically said, like, yo, they fought in unison, man. They fought in one accord. That's why they were able to overthrow the person right. The way that they fought. They were all like in one unison. Even for a step, they had to make sure everybody take a step, everybody to push, pull back, do this, and that. They were all one accord, And seeing as how this is a spiritual battle, it's only fitting that this advice be applied to our lives. We all supposed to be one accord. We are all supposed to be in tune with the spirit. You can't have one brother off and another brother off, man. That's why the Most High gave a command, and he told Israel that when we go to battle, we ought to make sure that everybody on that battlefield is brave, man. No cowardly person, nobody who's fear of heart is allowed on that battlefield. Because or even a man that had recently gotten a woman, because his mind was divided. Right. His mind was not fully into the battle like these other men was. Right. And the Most High said, well, if you have these men in you, that spirit in him, that cowardly spirit in him, that second guessing is going to spread onto the entire. It's going to spread to the entire army. Take his ass out. Don't go to the battlefield with him by your side. Right. Right. And that's what the brother's trying to. The brother's trying to make us understand. It is very, very important that we all be in tune in the spirit to the highest level, man, to the highest of our ability. It's very, very important. It's not just something that we're saying or anything like that. This is a spiritual warfare, man. Right? Paul said that this thing that we're doing, it's what putting on the armor of God, man. This is what we're doing. It's putting on the armor of God, and no man puts on an armor just to bake cakes. Right. All right. God, that's a very beautiful point. You gotta. That's why it's important to be in the spirit. And if you know there's an individual that's not worthy, don't have him come to the Passover, because the Lord is going to look at you knowing you should know better. Why would you invite this individual over here to my Passover? So these are all things that you have to account for. It's a very serious time, so you treat it very seriously. Like, for example, when you have a job meeting, right, and you're sitting, you're having a meeting with your boss at home. You open the door to just let your wife and kids come and run around. Now you love your wife and kids, but you keep them out. You tell them, look, take them to the other room, because you're doing something important here. So you got to carry that mindset when it comes to the Lord's Passover. You can't just let anybody on in. Now, I got a precept here, the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 23. It says, for I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. You hear that? Do in remembrance of me. That's what the Lord said. So when you are eating of that bread, you are eating of the body of Yahushua spiritually, you have to do it in remembrance of Yahushua. And Yahushua was not in a happy mood during that time. So if you're remembering it, when you for example, if somebody dies, right, and you do something that reminds you of them, are you in a jolly spirit, or do you get down? You get down because you remember them, and that they died and what happened and how they died and whatnot.
Also a sign of respect,
Like they call it a moment of silence. But here you jumping around, all partying and shit, and then the second somebody says something, you want to run right to Josiah's Passover. Josiah got put to death. Why did the Lord say, well, since you held such a great grandiose Passover, I'm gonna save your ass even though you were being hard-headed? No. The Lord said, oh yeah, nigga. And then he took his ass out. The Lord directed that arrow that hit Josiah in his cart and had him die. Because the Lord he does everything. So why didn't the Lord say, I'm gonna remember the Passover that Josiah kept, and because of that, even though he's being disobedient right now, I'm gonna have mercy on him. He ain't do that. So it's not about keeping this great. So no, the Passover, we're supposed to do it in remembrance of who? Yahushua, not of Josiah, of Yahushua. Okay. Verse 25, it says, and after the same manner also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as oft as ye drink in remembrance of me. So when we drink the wine and we eat the bread, the unleavened bread, who are we doing in remembrance of? Yahushua. All right? Yahushua. And that means you're remembering the spirit Yahushua was in. You got to be in the spirit of Yahushua. Okay? Because the scriptures say, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst thereof. So what if Yahushua steps in to see what's going on, and he's like, what the hell is this?
Hey, that's the spirit through the Father. You say, I'm going to go and see.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go and see if the outcry against the city is true or not. And if it be true, I'm going to destroy it.
Right.
And if not, see.
That's right. That's right. So here it is, the Lord comes and he sees all this. You're not in the right spirit, basically. He's like, what the fuck is this? I died so you could do this. And I did the hard part. And all you got to do is keep this in remembrance of me. And you can't even do that. And that shows a lack of what? Discipline. If you can't discipline yourself for 1 week, out of 365 days, 1 week, you got people that can't even keep the Day of Atonement. And you gotta really ask yourself, hold on 1 second. If the Lord took you out the world and he brought you into this truth, you ain't doing this for the Lord, you're doing this for yourself.
That's right.
So you're the one who's supposed to be going the extra mile. You're the one who's supposed to be going hard to prove yourself to the Lord. You're the one coming back. Here it is. Imagine you tell this chick you're done with her, and she tries to come back to you, and she's coming on a pompous attitude and shit. You better take me back. Shit. Fuck you think this is? You know what I mean? Like, I ain't your mama. I ain't doing your laundry. I ain't cooking for you. Shit. And you sit back thinking, well, what the fuck? Wait, did I miss something? Yeah, like, did I miss something? I'm the one telling this, So ultimately, when you come into this truth, the scriptures say, seek the Lord 10 times more.
And also, like, if I may add, like when you see a bum in the street and you giving him money, and then this guy says, okay, beg me to take your money. Nigga, what? What? I starve then. That's how it is. That's how the Most High sees proud and wicked men, man.
God.
The Most High is giving you something so precious above everything else, and he has to beg you to take this. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
I'm hungry, but hold on. In order for me to eat, you gotta beg me.
Right.
Well, starve then.
Right, go make the food.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Work out your own salvation with fear and with trembling. So especially knowing that a lot of death went on that night, shouldn't you be afraid?
Right.
Knowing that we in Egypt and knowing that this time the Lord is not going to deliver all of Israel this time. That means that you're going to have the Egyptians, these heathens, but you're also going to have Israelites that are going to get got. Now the Lord can say, you know what? Maybe this Passover, I might bring actual darkness. I might actually put a lot of niggas to death on this Passover, you know? And you thinking, well, I did it last year, I did it the year before, this is how I kept it all the whole time, so I'm gonna keep on doing it. And here it is, the Lord have your whole roof break down on you and your family, or Job style. You know, the Lord got many ways, and the scriptures say that the 1 Peter 4:17, that judgment must begin at the house of God. Those that know that they're Israelites, and when it happens, we're gonna find out. So we could do videos on it and show the rest of the sheep why you don't do certain things. So continuing in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse where's I at? Oh, I think I was in verse 11 actually. It's like it. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 26. It says, for as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. You do show what? The Lord's death. The Lord's death. Did the Lord die in a peaceful way? No, he died in a painful, agonizing way. Being crucified is not, and he wasn't just crucified. Look at what he had to go through before he even got crucified. All right, having been pretty much tortured, humiliated, spat on, slapped, put the crown of thorns on him. Yeah, stripped him and put a garment on him, make fun of him, whipped him, had him carry the cross, you know, to the point where he couldn't even hold it anymore. And then they want to put him on the cross. So when we do this and we remember that, that's not a spirit to be jumping around and rejoicing in. You're sorrowful because you feel bad. And you know that why did the Lord have to come and do that? Because of us. Because of the shit we were doing. Because of our sins. Of course, including his too, but mainly because of ours. So you think about it like, damn, this is what the Lord went through because of us. And here it is, the Lord done all, that's like the Lord has done all this for you. And then you turn around, all right, I'm going right back to the same sin. And that's why it says you crucify the Lord afresh. And when he comes back, he's going to have a lot of rewards for a lot of people.
And also, we're supposed to be like witnesses of the outside, you know? And to be a witness of the outside, you ultimately have to remember the works of the outside, outside, grateful of the outside, you know? So that's pretty much it.
Done. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 28. It says, but let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. So you got to first examine yourself. This Passover that I'm partaking of, am I worthy to be partaking of this? Because if I'm not, verse 29, for he that eateth and drinketh unworthily. Let's look up the word unworthily. Let's find out what does that mean. You come in there thinking it's dinner time. It says, and in an unworthy manner, irrelevantly, meaning that you're not doing it in the spirit of the Passover. You're just eating just because you think it's food. I'm here for some lamb. If you want lamb, go buy lamb and make your own lamb. Don't come to the ceremony of the Passover talking about I'm here for some lamb. We're not here because of the lamb. We're here because of the Passover. Now, having the lamb is a part of keeping the Passover. But it's about the meaning behind what we're doing. That's what comes first. It's about what manner of spirit are you in your mind. Right? Continuing. 1 Corinthians 11 and 29. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily, eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. You eventually gonna get got. You're doing it to yourself. Verse 30, for this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep, meaning they die. It says, for if we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. Yeah, so coming up to that time, you got to make sure that that leaven that you purging out, of course, physically, but also spiritually, meaning out of your temple, out of your heart, out of your mind. That's why you examine yourself. See, when you're gonna purge out leaven out your house, right? First, you gotta examine your house and find out where is the leaven. Yeah, I remember there was a cake in the freezer. Let me take that out. I have some bread in the fridge. Oh, there was one in the bread holder. Let me take that out. You know, yeah, where else? You know, did Shorty make this? Did my mom in the pantry? You know, is there anything else that, oh, the one from in the back of the fridge that I was gonna eat later, but you get all of that and then you take it out. You know, you throw it out. If it's whole and you don't want to waste food, you put it in your trunk outside, right? But you need to first examine your house, find where the leaven is, and then take it out, right? So the same thing when you purging out the spiritual leaven, which is that malice, that wickedness, other philosophies, you know, all of these things, you got to look within yourself. That's what it means by examining yourself. Look within yourself. All right, am I actually in line? Is there anything that I'm doing that's not right, that's displeasing the Lord potentially? You know, and then you make sure you find that within yourself, and then you purge it out, so that you can come to the Passover without leaven. So it says here, continuing, 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 31. For if we judge ourselves, we should not be judged. So you got people that say, oh, you can't judge me. Well, you ain't judging yourself. So you damn right I could judge you. Right? And really all we're doing is letting you know that you're going off, or letting you know what you should be doing according to the scriptures. Verse 32, it says, but when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. So the Lord is making you better so that he doesn't have to destroy you with the world. When your car breaks down, right, before you decide to sell it or salvage it or throw it out, what do you first try to do? That's it. And then you try to repair it. So that way you don't have to throw it out. So that's what the Lord is doing. He's looking at us and he's trying to repair us so he doesn't have to throw us out. So when he's repairing us, you might need to change the tire because the tire might be flat. You might need to remove the whole back bumper and replace it. Now, when you take it, it's addition by subtraction. You take away the old and you put a new. So in this lifetime, you may lose something, and later on down the line, you get a new one. But that's what the Lord is doing, so that he doesn't have to ultimately throw us away. It says here, verse 33, wherefore, my brethren, when ye come together to eat, tarry one for another, and if any man hunger, let him eat at home, that ye come not together unto condemnation, and the rest will I set in order when I come. You see? So come with the mindset of keeping the Passover. Come with the mindset of being in the spirit of the Passover. Not in the spirit of a lamb dinner or having fun, because that's not the time, that's not the spirit of the Passover. That's not the spirit of the Lord. All right? You got something? Time we could get Lord's Passover in the book of Matthew. All right. Yeah, or actually the book of John, the 13th chapter. So we go to John 13 and start at start at 1.
It says, now before the feast of the Passover, when Yahushua knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end.
Hear that? He loved them unto the end. Imagine that. You having to leave your loved ones.
And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. Yahushua, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hand, and that he was come from God and went to God, he risen from supper and laid aside his garments, and took a towel and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with a towel wherein he was girded. Then cometh he to Peter Simon, and Peter said unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet?
What you doing?
You don't wash my feet? Yahushua answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest not now, but shalt know hereafter.
So what the Lord was saying was, this is deeper than just me washing your feet.
You can't just stick it up free valid.
Exactly. I ain't just washing your feet because I want to wash your crusty ass toes, but there's a spiritual significance behind it. Go ahead.
Peter said unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet.
He said, no, Lord. I know you, Lord, but no, you ain't gonna wash my feet. That's because he felt, well, like I'm beneath you. If anything, I'm supposed to wash your feet. Why should I sit here and have you wash my feet? That's like if somebody that's over you just comes and they trying to, you're like, well, wait, what you doing? You can't do that now. You ain't never gonna wash my feet.
John the Baptist says that the latch and the shoes.
I'm not,
I am not
worthy to latch.
Yeah. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my fault. So like Yahushua answered him, if I wash thee not, thou shalt not depart, thou hast no part with me. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hand and my head.
Yeah, so like I thought it was something else going on. So he said, look, he said first he said, so it shows you how the spirit works. First he said, nah, Lord, you ain't never gonna wash my feet. And the Lord said, all right, if I don't wash your feet, then you ain't a part of it. He said, Lord, he said, don't get just the feet, you gotta get right in between the toes, get the hands, get it all. Whatever you gotta do. And that shows you how serious Peter valued the Lord and valued being a part of the Lord. Because he said, look, Lord, if that's what it takes, wash the feet, the hands, whatever you got to wash. I want to be fully submerged in this. So,
Yahushua said unto him, he that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but he that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but he is clean every whit, and ye are clean, but not all.
Wash, right.
For he knew who should betray him.
Right. So he said, ye are clean, but not all. Yeah. Because there was one among them that he wasn't of the elect.
Right. For he knew who should betray him. Therefore said he, ye are not all clean. So after he had washed their feet and had taken his garments and was set down again, he said unto them, know ye what I have done to you?
No, that must have been awkward. like in a scary way though, because imagine Yahushua actually touching your feet. Now in the ancient world, you ain't have, what I'm saying, like you had dirt roads and all of that. So you walking and you got like sandals, and of course that's why the Lord spoke about dusting off your feet, because whenever you would get to a house, and even in Ghana it's like that. You walk with the flip flops and stuff, and the dust and the sand getting your feet and the slippers and shit. So you gotta like dust it off. So your feet weren't the cleanest things in the world. See, today,
so like Abraham watched that shit come in.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of precepts.
Yeah. Book of Genesis, yeah. So here it is. It wasn't like today. You got the socks, then you got the shoes and the sneakers. You take it off and your feet are clean, right? In that time, it wasn't like that. So imagine that. You like, oh, like the Lord is actually the Son of the Most High is actually down. He actually grabbed your feet and he's washing it. You must have been uncomfortable because you're like, yo, like, it's like I'm unworthy. It feels mad crazy, like, like, damn, Lord, the feet. Like, my hands is different, but my feet. Lord?
He said unto them, know ye what I have done to you? Ye call me master and Lord, and ye say, well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you. Verily, verily, I say unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he that is sent greater than he that sent him.
Right. So if Yahushua can wash your feet, then why can't you to your next brother? Go ahead.
Hey, now you have no excuse, right? Right. If you know,
I'm not saying, just because you read that, second you get hey, two brothers, hold the brother down. You don't want me to what? Take those shoes off. You know what I'm saying? If you don't take them off, you ain't a part of this. Get me the followers and the shit. I'm gonna get up in them toes, brother. No, that's not what it means. It's not. I mean, it doesn't mean that just because of that, go and do that. Remember at the end of the day, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. But the Yahushua said, I'm leading a good example for you. And ultimately, it shows for you to love one another, right? Go ahead.
If you know these things, happy are ye if ye do them. I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen.
I speak not of you all. I know whom I've chosen. So Yahushua is basically saying, look, when I picked all of you, I knew who was of the elect and who was that demon that's going to betray me. And yet I picked his ass too. Now you gotta imagine there might have been times when Yahushua might have, looked at Judas a kind of way too, Every you know, some probably just look at him, stare at him for a while, something, you know, because he knew what Judas was gonna do. Because at the end of the day, you know, you in the flesh, and you're like, you got to rock 3 years with an individual, and you know what he's gonna do at the end. You know what kind of character this dude got. But yet, for prophecy's sake, you got to have him, because who's gonna betray you?
Hey man,
It's all good. It's all good.
It says, I know whom I have chosen.
Now you know it doesn't make sense. Here it is. It was just freaking a whole so-called storm that just came a couple of days ago. It was snow and everything, and now it's damn near 50-something degrees. And then just like that, last week it was mad hot, almost 70 degrees, right after a crazy ass storm. Then it got hot again, then another crazy ass storm.
I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled.
You see? But that the scripture may be fulfilled. So he said, yeah, I had to pick Judas. I knew what he was going to do, but that's how the prophecy set up. Yeah.
He that eateth bread with me has lifted up his heel against me.
So what was he quoting? The book of Psalms, what King David had said in the spirit. I'll get it. Yep, this is Psalm 41 verse 9. It says, "Yea, my own familiar friend, in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, hath lifted up his heel against me." You know, so he ultimately, you know, betrayed the Lord. Because, and also when you look at it, hold on a second. Yeah, because when you look at it, when you're dealing with like oxen, for example, right? And you know, you're a husbandman and you holding the plow, you would have certain times when the ox wouldn't want to move or it wouldn't want to go a certain way. So you got to go, which is had a sharp, pointy end, and you would poke the ox to get it to move. But sometimes the ox would kick back at you, you know, and that's an example of lifting up the heel, because you're the one who feeds the ox and takes care of it. But here it is, you don't want to move the way you want to move, and you're trying to get him to go, and instead he kicks your ass. You know? Go ahead. And that was just an example of that.
Now I tell you before it come, that when it has come to pass, ye may believe that I am he.
Right.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receiveth whomever I sent receiveth me, and he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me.
So who sent Yahushua? The Most High Yahweh. Right. Wait, hold on a second. But here it is. If he is the Most High, then he sent himself. How does that work? You know, he said, "He that sent me." So clearly he's referring to somebody else. Right. And also, we're sent of the Lord. So if you don't receive us, then you don't receive Yahushua. Right. So people who say you don't got to learn from no man, you can just go straight up to the Lord and learn of it. So you ain't receiving the Lord then. Because in order to get, when you're going home, right, you got to follow a road, then you get to your door, then you get into your house. So your house shall be in the door, well, we are the road. So that's why Paul said, "Be ye followers of me as I am of Yahushua." Because if you follow us as we're following Yahushua, you're going to get to the door, which is Yahushua. And from there, you're going to get into the house. Now, if you don't follow the road, how the hell are you going to get to the door? What are you going to walk on? What's the path? Yeah, just jump over everything. Whoop, whoop. You know what I'm saying?
Verse 21, John 13, verse 21. When Yahushua had thus said, he was troubled in spirit and testified and said, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me."
Yeah, so he got to the point where he just told him, you know, look, ultimately one of y'all is gonna turn on me. He's gonna turn me in, he's gonna betray me. Go ahead. And it's not like Yahushua was a criminal.
Then the disciples looked one another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on Yahushua the bosom one of his disciples, whom Yahushua loved.
God, real quick, this is GMS Hawaii Ba Shalom. And he said, John 6:70. Yahushua answered them, "Have not I chosen you 12, and one of you is a devil?" And where the word devil mean? Deceiver. Right. And he said he did snap. They didn't realize it. Yeah. Because he got to the point where, I mean, he was still a man. He was still in the flesh. And though he was righteous, he's still a man. You know?
Now there was one leaning on Yahushua's bosom, one of his disciples, whom Yahushua loved.
Which was John. Now he's narrating this, so of course he's not putting himself there. You know, and that shows you how humble he was. He didn't want to, you know, oh yeah, it was me. I was laying on his bosom. I'm the one he loved. You know?
Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom Yahushua spake of.
Right. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You know, because you know,
Like
no, go ahead.
yeah, like you know how you have a friend come visit over, and sort of like your pops or your mom like him a lot. It's like the friend that your parents like. So when you want to ask for something, you tell them to go ask your parents because he's so lovable, they will give way to him that it may spread upon them.
Exactly.
Same thing that's going on.
Yep. Because especially it's a tense atmosphere.
Yeah.
You don't want to say nothing and get your ass rebuked. Because Peter done already tried it, and the Lord said, now I forget if this was before or after this time, but I think it was before. But pretty much he asked the Lord, what of John? And he said, don't worry about him. Worry about yourself. What if I want to have him stay alive until I come back? You know? And then the rumor spread that, oh, John wasn't ever going to die. You know? And then John, because it's in the book of John. And he says, but that's not what the Lord said. The Lord said, what if? Meaning I could decide to keep him alive until I come back. But Peter had already tasted a good number of rebukes. Yeah. So he said, well, we just have John do it.
Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask whom it should be of whom he spake. He then lied on Yahushua's breast, said unto him, Lord, who is it? Yahushua answered, He it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon.
I'm trying to wonder, was it like in secret or he did it right?
Yeah, everybody saw that. And you could tell because if they all there and he dipped it and he's taking it, everybody like like if it's coming to you, you're trying to move out the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, nah, Lord.
That was an intense moment, man.
Yeah.
Heart's racing.
Yeah, your heart is beating. Might
Yeah.
just pass out,
Yeah. All right, and after the sop, Satan entered into him.
Yeah.
And then said Yahushua unto him, that thou doest, do quickly.
Yep, go do what you gotta do.
Now no man at the table knew what intent, for what intent he spoke this unto him. For some of them thought because Judas had the bag that Yahushua had said unto him, buy those things that we have need of against the feast.
Right. So they thought, oh, well, he's gonna just,
Send him to the store.
That'll do it, right? Go do what you gotta do. Yo, go take care of that real quick. Okay, all right. What's that about?
He then, having received the sop, went immediately out, and it was night. Therefore, when he was gone out, Yahushua said, now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him.
Right.
If God be glorified in him, God shall also glorify him in himself, and shall straightway glorify him. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. Ye shall seek me, and as I said unto the Jews, whether I go, ye cannot come.
Right.
So now I say unto you, and a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you.
Right. So he's telling them, look, I'm about to depart. And like I told those wicked scribes and Pharisees, I'm going to the spirit world, and you can't follow me there. So what I'm going to leave you with is love one another. All right? Like I've loved you.
That ye also love that ye also love one another. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye have loved one to another.
Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, whither goest thou? Yahushua answered him, whither I go, thou cannot follow me now,
Right.
but thou shalt follow me afterwards.
Meaning that he was going to die too. So you can't come up to the spirit world with me right now because you got work to do here. But in due time, you're going to come up there. Meaning you're going to be put to death. All right?
Peter said unto him, Lord, why cannot I follow thee now?
Because he didn't understand. See, there were many things the Lord said to his disciples that went over their heads.
Right.
And he would have to say it again. When he spoke about the leaven, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees, they thinking of actual bread. When he spoke about Lazarus being asleep, they thought he was actually asleep. They said, well, Lord, if he's sleeping, isn't that good? Because then he gonna get better soon. You know? So when the Lord said this, and the Lord, you know, he did that on purpose.
To cook the message.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yahushua answered him, Peter said unto him, Lord, why cannot I follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thy sake. Yahushua answered him, wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice.
Yeah. So he said, oh Lord, I'd rather die for you. You know, I died then to betray you. He said, oh yeah, you're gonna die to betray me? You don't know that before the cock crows 3 times, you're gonna betray me? You're gonna deny me 3 times? Or before the cock crows, you're gonna deny me 3 times? All right.
Let not your heart be troubled. Oh, verse chapter 14.
Oh, no, all right. So that's good on that. So pretty much what we wanted to do is show you, and you know, brothers and elders have already done videos going into it, showing you the spirit, all right, that the men of old were in during the time of Yahushua's Passover, and the kind of mindset to be in during the time of Yahushua's Passover. Imagine if you were one of the disciples there in that room with the Lord, having been with him for all these years, having learned from him, being rebuked, picking up things, learning things, performing miracles, breaking bread, and now he's gonna be put to death. Somebody that was so close to you, and not just anybody, but Yahushua himself. So close, and now you know tonight he's gonna be put to death. And you know what I'm saying? You like, yo, this shit is crazy. So much to the point where Peter, when they were in the garden, he cut the ear of the servant of the high priest. Because he said, no, I'm not, yo, he was, now, hold on a second. You got to think about this. If you cut the ear of the servant of the high priest, what you think is going to happen to you? And that shows you Peter wasn't thinking about consequences. He was in the spirit of, no, you ain't touching the Lord. But the Lord said, look, you'll be more of an adversary doing that than the good one, because you in the carnal, you may think you're doing something to defend the Lord, but in the spiritual, you're trying to hold back the word of the Lord, the will of the Lord, and that makes you an adversary. That's why the Lord told him, get thee behind me, Satan, because you're being adverse to the will of the Lord. And what did the Lord say? My meat is to do the will of him that sent me. So if you wanted to, exactly. So if you wanted to stop Yahushua from dying, you'd really have to deal with the Most High. And you know that ain't going to happen. You know? So ultimately, you know, we just wanted to go into that to where the Passover is tomorrow, right? So you got to be in a certain mindset. You have to be in a solemn mindset, getting into this spirit and remaining in this spirit, and come ready to do, you know, to keep the ordinance, right? And to keep it right. And then that's it. Nice, short, sweet, simple, to the point, and then that's it. You go and you continue. You know, it's not something to drag your feet and tarry. You get there on time. You right when the sun goes down. You know, you keep the Passover, because it's the Lord's Passover. All right. Everybody's got anything?
No, that's pretty much it, man. The Passover that we're in, it's always like, I was telling the brother that you should notice that whenever the Passover comes into play, it's always a point of it's always a climactic point in our history, man. When you go to the Egyptians, it was when we were in the time of Egypt, it was when we received the deliverance, but it was also a time of great death and great crime, man. When like the brothers during the time of Yahushua, it's see, the things that we read now, it's not about wars and like things like great battle or anything like that, or chariots coming down and shooting lasers. But this small piece of information that has been read tonight is more important that you could than you can ever know. You know, it's actually one of the things that Yahushua sold in his church, man.
Right.
And those that he has given privilege to be witnesses of his name, you know. And so it's something important that we all have to we keep bringing these things out because we can't like, how do I put it? Like we can't stress how important this thing is because it's so much greater than any man can ever define. You know, it's very, very great. You know, it's very, very important. You know, that's all we can say about it. You know, and so any opportunity that we have to bring a point out, so that as to help you understand this better, we're always gonna bring this out. You know, so be it. If you're annoyed about Passover, every time Passover comes around, we bring these out and all these things. It's the hell with that, man. If you think this is annoying, well, be on your way. But this will be brought up because it's very, very important. You know, it's like the brother said earlier. We do these things for our own purpose. You know, it is a good thing for you to keep your house shut in your heart. Keeping your house shut in your heart means you do His will. You respect Him. And what happens when your house shut says, what happens when you're on the side of your house shut? He delivers you, man. And it's ultimately what we're striving for. See, nobody wants to get caught up in this time that's coming right now. Nobody wants to get caught up in the middle of famine is very, very grievous, man. I had brought out a camp one time that the most I can have it to where you eat because at a certain point you may have food, but because you lack certain nutrients, you can go blind. So the most I can jack you up to the point where you eating food, but He can be like, okay, I just want your ass alive, so you can have every disease, food, famine, disease possible. You know. You don't want to get caught up in that time, man. The Most High shows His power, and kings were scared, man. He told Abimelech, "Thou art a dead man, man." And the dude was scared out of his mind.
Give up the riches quick.
Yeah, man. He sent Sarah out real quick, man. The Most High don't play when He shows His power. And what's scary now is the fact that He's been sitting on His anger all these while, and we are living in a time when He's gonna explode, man. He's gonna show His real anger. So all the things, that's why He promised us like that it's gonna be as a time that has never happened before. You don't want to get caught up in that, man. You read of history, you read of war and the gruesome thing. You read of slavery itself, man. Slavery was horrible. Slavery was bad, man. It was horrible. But the things that happened back then is nothing compared to what's gonna come over here now. You need to be spiritual, man. You need to be strong. You need to put on your armor because the battle is great, man. It's a fatal battle, man. You get chopped up in pieces without you even knowing. You ought to prepare. You ought to work out, man. Spiritually, I guess. Boot camp and all these things. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, and all these strengths that we're gonna receive in these latter end, it's a gift from Yahweh Shai. It is a gift from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai that we ought to strive to receive, man. You don't want to be unworthy of this gift. You don't want to be the scumbag who had this gift but then threw it out. It's gonna be the worst mistake you ever made in your life, man.
Yeah, man. So just like the brother said, man, you can't stress it enough. We're in a very serious time. You know what? The Lord does this on purpose, and people won't take it serious until judgment comes. So the Lord does a reenactment of Egypt, but on a level that you've never seen before. See, at that point, you're going to always remember that day, right? But hey, let's see what the Lord does. Maybe He brings judgment on the night of. Maybe He brings judgment after. But it's all the will of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. So with that, we're going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai B'Hashem Rakah Kodash. Until next time, Shalom. Shalom.